Hi, we've got an interesting story today called The True Story of the Three Little Pigs, and it's in the Daily Wolf. And I thought actually, in my teaching years, I've often got children to think of a story, one of their favourite fairy tales, and see if they can modernise it and perhaps change it a little bit like this story to make it fun. So the true story of the Three Little Pigs. So you could do it for, I don't know, Red Riding Hood or the Gingerbread Man or any other stories, maybe a favourite story of yours. And this was dedicated to Jerry and Molly by the authors, and the author and the illustrator, who are John Sciezza and illustrated by Lane Smith. Hope I've pronounced that right. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do, but I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. So this is from the wolf's perspective. I am the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But like I said, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. So he reckons it's all about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. I love the way that's all been written. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold and I ran out of sugar. So here he is making his cake for his dear old granny. And he ran out of sugar. It's interesting what's in that cake. So I went next door to ask if I could borrow a cup of sugar. Now the guy next door was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He'd made his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house out of straw? So here he is, making his way along the road to go and ask for a cup of sugar. So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house, so I called, "Little pig, are you in?" No answer. I was just about to go home without a cup of sugar for my dear old granny's cake. That's when my nose started to itch. So here he is where he's knocked on the door and apparently it just fell in. And then his nose started to itch just as he was leaving. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed a great big sneeze. Wow, that's a pretty big sneeze. And you know what? That whole darn straw house fell down, and right in the middle of a pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home all the time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar, so I went on to the next house. The guy who lived there was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house out of sticks. I rang the bell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in?" He yelled back, "Go away, wolf, you can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin." And here he is, shaving the hairs on his chinny chin chin. Quite spiky and prickly, so he obviously needed a shave. I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. So there's the great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honour. Now, you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better. And I didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He had built his house out of bricks. So here he is on his way. And he found the next brother had built his house out of bricks. I knocked on the brick house, no answer. I called Mr. Pig. Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here, wolf. Don't bother me again.